Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show live from the Atzenhofer studio. Glad you're all joining us on Monday, the 15th of June, a day after Flag Day. We're glad you're here. Let's see. Ricky King, Daniel Wade White, Greg Garcia on the podium this morning. Thanks for tuning in and joining us. Also, everybody on the No Bull Network, Magic, the Mothership, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're on the social medias, like, share, follow, subscribe, do all the things that you can do. And let's grow this program. Wade and Carter Weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Durham Hayfeed and Ranch Services. I can sum it up in one word: rain.
79 degrees and raining in Victoria, Texas, under a sky today that will reach a high of 85 degrees. Yeah, I'm looking at the little clouds on my app, and they go all the way through today. I mean, all day there's 70% chance of rain. 100% chance of rain today, 100% chance of rain tomorrow, 85% Wednesday, 35 Thursday.
Yeah.
So, I'm back to this deal where I'm like, be careful what you wish for. Be even more cautious about what you pray for. If you're complaining about the rain, get over it.
Oh, I agree.
We've been waiting for rain around here for a year. So just get your umbrella, get your galoshes. Is that what those are?
Yep.
Your overshoes.
Rubber boots.
Shut up. Move on. Top story of the day's got to be Trump announces again an Iranian ceasefire agreement, this time for 60 days, told the United States Navy, come home, told folks to get ready to ship the oil. The Strait of Hormuz about to be reopened in total. The deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete, he said on Truth Social. I don't know. I told Ash my knee-jerk reaction is that the mission was a failure.
It was.
You went over there to get uranium. So you closed the strait, and now you've opened the strait. Yeah, this is from, what is this, New York Times?
New York Times.
The deal was expected to open the Strait of Hormuz and lift the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports, but it would leave the thorniest nuclear issues for another day. The reason you bombed them, to get the uranium, to eliminate their possibility of having a nuclear weapon, and yet we're coming home without the uranium.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of money, lots and lots of time. And although I still
13
subscribe,
lives.
yeah, which by the way, over that number of months,
relative, but
people,
still.
13 people probably died in the military anyway. But you've got the school that says, hey, the president doesn't actually control gas prices. And while I agree with that, he's still getting blamed for them. Right? I mean, I
think they're averaging just over $4 a gallon, which is higher than they were when it was $4.50 a month or so ago, but still almost $1 higher on average than they were a year ago. But this is just where we are. Gas prices will drive an election more than what I mean, that's the stupidest thing.
People
really
vote with their pocketbooks.
Yeah.
But the timing is good, right? You can go into summer, gas prices can and probably will plummet. I think that this is his best chance to have a shot at the midterms. What was that? Go back up about the screw worm.
We're going to get to that in a second here, but
we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Because it's probably important.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I thought I had something on how the gas prices will react, but it just doesn't seem to be. There we go. Here it is. Wall Street Journal talking about how gas prices. Here's the crazy thing. This has been the major concern of most Americans, and I think has been driven by the media as opposed to a war, as opposed to what this could mean for a conflict that could have gone global, right?
Sure. That Israel may still take global.
Yeah. But the media, because I don't know anybody that I've talked to about this war ever came up to me and goes, oh, geez, gas prices. That's what I'm worried about out of this war. Nobody.
Right. They're not.
The media drove this narrative because they wanted it to divide this country. And I was against it right from the get-go. So you weren't going to divide me. I don't think it was the right move. Still don't. And now that we don't have the uranium, well, anyway.
Right. At least if I could counter you and say, well, look, Iran has no chance now to build a nuclear weapon probably in my lifetime because they have no uranium. But now they've still got it. And what the problem is, as most of you have noticed, they're a very insightful group. They're a group that can get, I mean, I'll be right. They're a group that can get fired up really easy. They're very emotional people. So they're going to portray this peace agreement as a victory for them. We stood up to the great white evil from the West.
Oh, they will. Absolutely.
And we conquered them. We destroyed their military. They had the big boats, but we controlled the strait. I mean, it's a propaganda machine. So now they're going to be more excited than ever. Can you imagine if we had the weaponry to go after the evil beast? That's what bothers me.
Yeah. I mean, the problem was, though, every time President Trump, we've decimated their Navy, we've destroyed their Air Force, and then we do nothing, and 3 weeks later, they would send drones after something. They would block the Strait of Hormuz again. We didn't decimate them. We took away their capabilities for a little while, and instead of being Ali and finishing off George Foreman,
right, we let them stand.
We let them stand in the corner and regroup, and then come back in the next round. That's all we did for
months
since this started in the end of February.
Months.
Yeah. So, I mean, gas prices will come down. That's obvious. Oil prices will come down. Curious to see. I'm sure the stock market will rebound.
David Ballard over in Channelview points out, good morning. Let's watch the stock market and gas prices today, which, as you and I have talked about, it's all perception, right? Because there's consumer confidence that's bolstered by a lack of reality. A very small percentage of American oil, very small, comes through the Strait of Hormuz. So the idea that all of a sudden American gas prices are going to go down on the fact that Europe is going to get cheaper oil makes no economic sense.
Well, the fact that American gas prices went up the way they did because the rest of the world.
Was that not just opportunistic
I think so.
Profit taking by the Exxons of the world?
Yeah. Well, I think it just shows you that oil is, I mean, think about it. When oil first crossed $150 a barrel years ago, 10, 15 years ago, the only reason it got there, some traders wanted it to get there. Yeah. It had nothing to do with the market. It had nothing to do with anything other than manipulation of the market to get it there, because some trader wanted to be famous amongst trader circles that they actually sold oil for $150 a barrel.
They showed they could do
bought it for it. And it's the same thing here. It's really, it's fear and feelings more so than actual market influences. But anyway,
Scott Tonko says, although we are paying for his actions now, we should recover in a short period of time. The border debacle will cost us way more for a much longer period of time. And I agree completely. The idea being that Trump has shut down the border and effectively has. I mean, he was right. We didn't need new laws. We just needed a new president. Yeah. And he was right about that. When you look at it, but now, I mean, the other extreme of that, what we're starting to see is countries like Switzerland, they floated out a bill, to use American nomenclature. Hey, we're going to cap. They're at 9.1 million people in Switzerland, roughly a third the size of the state of Texas. And we're going to
nice country if you've never been.
We want to cap. Well, you just like it because there's mountains and lots of white people. Says you want to cap that at 10 million people. Now, Ash was enlightening me that with the EU, these people have the ability to migrate. They use the term as if it's just a natural thing, like the wildebeest migrating across the Serengeti, where they're eaten at the water troughs by the crocodiles, they're eaten on the desert by the lions, but they are migrating because it's a natural thing. Switzerland's saying we don't want, they're looking over at their friends, like let's say in England
and Sweden,
who have been overrun
France.
with the muzzies, and they're going, hey, we don't want any part of that. We're going to cap our country at 10 million people. Their government said, no, we're not going to do that yet, which is interesting. Switzerland looks to be about 80% Swiss citizens and a little bit of some others.
Yeah, which I think are mostly, workers and such
that are doing jobs that the Swiss won't do.
Yeah,
they're Americans over there doing jobs the Swiss won't do.
Yeah, interesting that they actually went to the polls on a Sunday for this. Voter turnout about 60%, and 55% of voters voted against the cap, which would have capped the population at 10 million by 2050 and would have enacted some other, measures if the population had hit a certain, gotten close to that before the 2050 date. I don't know that other countries aren't going to start looking.
They're going to have
like
to.
This.
But think about this, Ash. They're talking about growing their country a maximum of another 10% over the next 24 years. We arguably grew the size of this country by 10% during the 4 Biden years. So think about the influx of people illegally. Switzerland's not talking about illegal immigration. They're talking about folks they're willing to allow into their nation.
Yeah. And they already have very, very strict immigration laws as it is. But the EU soften those somewhat because they're members of the EU.
Absolutely. And I can't disagree with Torrin Bales on that. I was always, and you were also, in fairness, you were of the agreement that anything we did to Iran, they had coming. It was just whether or not it was a good move to do so. We probably really did set their military back a decade, but we're about to open up the strait and they're going to make enough money to make it all back.
That's the problem. I mean, aside from maybe, decimating 3 layers of their leadership,
who had it coming,
and fracturing their leadership, I'm not sure we actually accomplished much. Did we?
Wow. I did not know that the leader of Trinity.
This came out, I think, late Friday, and it was one of my things to talk about. But here, this is where the Trump administration gets it wrong. This apparently he was eliminated like a week ago. And they sat on this news until Friday.
Well, they didn't want to interfere with the big UFC match. Which, by the way,
that could be true. Apparently, was killed. I guess 3 days ago. So, but they
Nino Guerrero,
yeah,
Hector Rustenford Guerrero Flores. Now, where did he get the Eastern or the Western European guy in there?
Probably from Germany after World War II.
Probably.
I bet you some of his relatives were Nazis that fled Germany.
A lot of truth. Yeah, the U.S. Southern Command, Southcom, delivered a kinetic strike.
This is where the relationship between Venezuela and the U.S. after getting Maduro out of there is showing, because we weren't going to get him. He escaped from prison in 2023, by the way.
Yeah, there was a $5 million State Department bounty and Interpol red notice. Like they were after
So who
him.
gets the $5 million?
Well, Trump.
Can we put in a claim for it?
He's going to give that $5 million to Jared Kushner.
Or does it go to Venezuela's new president?
Probably.
For helping.
That would encourage.
It would. Yeah.
That would encourage.
I mean, this is the kind of cooperation we need in Mexico.
Scheinbaum's not that person.
No. Although we are doing some things in Mexico, we're just not quite this brazen. I mean, we were apparently responsible for that strike on that on the cartel leader in Puerto Vallarta, when then
right.
The cartel burned all the buses in protest and all that. So,
Linda Christ adds a solid comment about Iran, though. It says, I'm not sure there'll be any changes in Iran either. They will receive $24 billion when they sign the agreement, which was part of it's like is it an acquiescence on the sanctions? Like, hey, we've cost you some money. But I mean, why aren't they paying us? I mean, that's, I think the president is feeling a lot of internal party pressure to end this.
Well, and I think he wanted something done ahead of the G7 summit, which is going on in France, right, this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he wanted to have something before that.
They say Macron's that the French president, his biggest role right now is to keep Trump engaged in the G7.
Yeah.
Apparently they have a relationship that would allow him to say, please don't leave us.
Iran agreeing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to all commercial vessels toll-free. Again, if we decimated their navy, how do they have the ability to enact tolls on vessels going through the strait? But anyway, whatever.
We're giving them $24 billion. We'll prepay the tolls with the American taxpayer money.
The ceasefire predicated on an end to the conflict in Lebanon, where Israel and Iranian-backed Hezbollah have been fighting.
Interesting, though. Don't we hear all the time how Trump is just a puppet of Netanyahu, that Trump's being played by the Israelis? It seems here that, if anything, Trump is showing, hey, me and Benji aren't great buddies. I mean, he was quite upset because they had announced this ceasefire on a Friday. And then, like, on Friday afternoon, the Jews just decided to blast Lebanon.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Trump's like, stop now.
Yeah, crude oil prices down. Brent futures down to 83.16 as of early this morning, according to CNBC.
If it settles in at $75 a barrel, everybody's happy.
Yeah. So
there you go, Trump. Ships of the world, start your engines. Let the oil flow. And he's aware that what he says drives markets.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
So you didn't watch the UFC fight last night, huh?
I don't watch any UFC fights. It didn't matter where it is. There it is this morning, 80.52 a barrel, West Texas Intermediate crude.
Interesting to me why you don't watch UFC fights.
It's never, I shouldn't say never. The very first ones where everything went except nut grabbing. That's the only thing you couldn't do. That was the only rule.
Okay.
Then it just, I don't know. I don't know. Then I just seen one, you've seen them all.
Greg Garcia clarifies they're not receiving money; it's assets that have been frozen. Now here,
which is the same thing that when Barack Obama gave them pallets of cash, billions of dollars, it was their assets that we had taken from them and we repatriated. Just to be fair, same thing going on here.
Fair
but
enough.
Should they get that money back? I don't know.
No, they shouldn't. They should be thankful. Well, I'll put it this way. If the Trump narrative is true, this seems to run contra to the Trump narrative. He was like, they're going to pay for it. They're going to owe us money. And now we're just going to give them assets back that were theirs to begin with.
Yeah. Well, and you can't go and blame. You can't go and yell, well, Obama gave them all that cash when it was and Biden, you're doing the exact same thing.
Scott Tomp goes on the right path. He says, why watch UFC when there's hockey? Go Canes. So my comment back to you still is, I would think that a hockey fan would appreciate the stark brutality of UFC, that you would be excited to watch a throwing of hands, if you will, that they throw the gloves off and just fight. Now they're wearing padded gloves now.
That's part of the reason.
Yeah,
they didn't on the very first couple.
Well, they would be. These guys are. By the way, Dawn and I watched it last night. Neither one of us are even really boxing fans, but 85% of what was going on was boxing. There was some grappling. Every now and then, a guy would go to the ground, and what I found in one of the heavyweight fights, one guy got the other guy on the ground, and in the Sean O'Malley fight. The Lilia, whatever that guy's name was, he got that guy on the ground, and O'Malley was on the ground, and he was in trouble. And they basically laid there. Honestly, I got he had him in a little thing like this, but they laid there for a minute and a half, and then they got a minute in their corners, and the O'Malley guy came back refreshed and beat the guy. There was some serious violence, and there was a guy named Holchik. Somebody help me. Big guy, a white guy, beat up a guy from Houston named something Lewis, a guy named Lewis. And at the end of it, the thing that I don't like is that it's kind of got that WWE flair. The one guy got up and screamed, I just want to thank President Trump for having the things that you said that you can't grab to put this on right here on the White House lawn. And it was a fantastic venue. I mean, it gave America a glimpse into different rooms of the White House, the blue room, the red room, the green room, how fighters came through the White House and out onto the patio or the South.
If you don't think the events of all of this weekend were part of the stage for that, including the announcement of the ceasefire, your head is in the sand.
Yeah, that's what that was. It was Trump's 80th birthday. At the end of the day, I thought it was a well-done spectacle. I really did. And the fighting was intense. And there was, you had guys that were bleeding profusely. You had one guy, that guy that screamed Holchik, whatever his name was, said at the end of his match, he said, "Oh, F the speech, and I want to thank the president," and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, my last comment is Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? And everybody just roar. It just went crazy for him. Which I think the jury's still out on that, if Big Mike is a dude or not. But anyway. Hi, Laney Sloan.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big UFC fan.
Yeah, no, fair enough. No, I'm not a fan either, but there was a lot going on. It was engaging
boxing
enough.
Once in a while, but not.
It's a true story.
Yeah, because at that time anything went except for that.
So basically,
that's all you couldn't do.
Ash only watched UFC fighting back in the day for the moments where a man violated the rules and grabbed another man.
They didn't do that though, but that was the only rule. But it was vicious. I remember
it was pretty stark.
This big Norwegian dude just laid on another guy and just threw elbows into his face until
they get, and then it's like this deal where they pow, and
he had him kind of like, he was like laying on him like the guy was almost out. It was like laying on like a pillow. And he just sat there throwing backwards elbows into the guy's face until he finally gave up. And I'm sure his cheekbones cratered.
That whole deal of the last guy in the main event, Lilia, whatever his name was. And Junior seems to be missing the fact that I didn't care enough to write their names down. He literally, like, there was such notable swelling that the physician on site said, no, he can't go on. It can't happen.
And this was back. Yeah. I think
I was sitting there, of course, saying, cut me, Mick, cut me.
of course. But, I didn't watch it.
No.
No.
Well done. They had Medal of Honor winners escorting fighters to it was a very much a merger, glorification, if you will, of American military might. You had a B-1 flyover. You had a group of planes fly over. Very good. I mean, it was a well done deal.
Yeah. The unofficial kickoff for the 250th birthday.
Absolutely.
Basically what it was.
You could kick that celebration off by going to Paravita Wellness and getting healthy. Get in and get healthy for the new, centennial. Is that what it would be? I don't know. The next 100 years.
Sesquicentennial?
Yeah. No, that's already happened. Tell you what, Paravita Wellness, healthy food, healthy fare, no preservatives, good for you. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Palace, inviting you to come out and eat unhealthy. The L&L Grill has burgers that are fantastic. They have fish sandwiches. They have shrimp baskets, pizza, all of it homemade, all of it very good. They have fresh desserts every day. And we highly recommend.
Do you want to be there this Thursday?
I don't know. Andrew Alvarez says it was a modern day gladiator exhibition. Here's the problem I've got with it. The people that are whining to me, just whining about, oh, it's the people's house. It's so uncivilized. Those people should have never been at the Lincoln Memorial, blah, blah, blah. Come on, people, wake up. It was a showcase of DC. It was actually pretty cool. Corporate sponsors, they're upset. They act like it was their tax dollars at work. It simply wasn't. No. Chesnick Furniture, Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Get in and see why people will say they just always do better at Chesnick. Furniture, best recliners, bedding, Tempur-Pedic, Silly Posturepedic, Stearns and Foster, all high-end brands, great quality products. Get in and see Chesnick. This week went services, turnkey generator service. Get in to win.
Yeah, give them a call and get a quote. A little disturbance that's in the Gulf that's kicking up all this rain. It's not going to really materialize into anything, but enough to bring, almost as much rain as we might get in a small tropical storm.
There you go. Cody Balance says, hey, gentlemen, it's a Monday. Let's stay away from big words.
Yeah, let's do that.
What big word did we use?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Nut grabbing? That's 2 words.
That's 2 words.
Yeah. Ricky King says there was no biting either in the original UFC. You're right. There wasn't. Those are the only 2 rules.
Yeah. Now there's any biting now.
And they were bare-fisted back then.
Oh.
Hoist Gracie was a big name out of Brazil, I believe, the Gracie family. Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys.
But you got to admit, if you go bare knuckle, now bare knuckle boxing is one thing, but if you have a fight where almost anything goes and it's bare knuckle, you could make a guy bleed so bad, so quick that it's not really a game of skill at that point.
No. Are they just, is UFC just, because look at how boxing ended up regulating itself because of threats from Congress when Ray Mancini killed that guy in the fight. They went from 15 rounds to what? 12 and 10, right? No fights lasted 15 rounds, and every once in a while someone still dies in a boxing match. I don't think anybody's died in a UFC match yet. But
no, Greg Garcia says some people just aren't happy unless they have something to complain about. What a pitiful existence. We call those folks Democrats.
Wasn't there a poll? 55% of Democrats say they would rather live in another country.
Yeah, I wish they would go.
If you're so unhappy here, go. Yeah, you're so eager to let other people come here. Why aren't you going there?
And our country's so bad. If you ask the Democrats, why do they want so many people to come here?
I don't know.
I don't get it either. The hypocrisy of the left is so radiant, so glaringly obvious that they can't operate in a normal world. That is kind of their position. The U.S. is terrible. It's a terrible place. It's run by white men, and there's still slavery, and everybody needs reparations, and our immigrants are treated so poorly, and nobody wants to do the jobs, and yada, yada, yada. And yet they're like, come on in. Hey, you'll love it here. Yeah.
I'm just trying to find the poll because I'm sure somebody will say something.
Yeah. 85% of Democrats, it says. Wow.
55%
55.
of Dems want to live outside
I would love for them to
in another
go.
country other than the U.S.
What a great country this could be with no Democrats.
Yeah. Elon University YouGov America 250 National Survey conducted between April 30th and May 4th. So this is fairly new, and it's Elon University.
Interesting. Speaking of Elon, how about that IPO?
Only 10% of Republicans said they would prefer to live outside the U.S. in that poll. Imagine that.
I saw a guy on CBS this morning who said, and he was just a guy, and he was just working out of a home office. He did have a carbon fiber SpaceX hard hat on his desk. It was cool looking. But he said, I've been with the company pretty much since the beginning, and I have to admit, and he was like almost apologetic, because I've got to admit that this IPO creates real generational wealth for my family going forward.
Yeah, something like I saw a stat over the weekend, 4,400 millionaires in SpaceX created from that. I guess if they sold their stocks, they would be, but I think that's interesting. Hey, got to give a shout out. Kathleen Leininger reminds me. Shout out to Bill Posey. He won. He was elected state Republican executive committee position on the very first ballot at the state Republican convention in Houston over the weekend. So, congrats to Bill.
I guess he's removed the hits on all the people that he said, if I'm not elected.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's kind of the board of directors for the Republican Party is how that was explained to me. So
good for him. That's a good man in a good position. So we love Bill Posey.
And first ballot.
Yeah.
That's good. It means he didn't have to go and try and politic with folks to get their vote. Good for him.
No.
So congrats to him.
That's awesome.
What else is going on in the world today? I think this is Texas averaging about 4,000 foreclosures per month, with the Houston area leading, and analysts say property taxes, the main reason why. People who have rolled their property taxes into their monthly mortgage payments and escrow accounts, every year you get that surprise, because next thing you know, your mortgage goes up by $500 a month.
But see, the real problem there, if you follow it on down, I want to read that. You follow it on down, the real problem is government spending. They don't need to raise your taxes if they quit spending so much dang money. Now, you may say, where are you going to cut? I'm not getting down in the weeds of the semantics of how you solve the problem. I'm just saying the only reason that your taxes keep going up is because they keep spending the money. What does it say there about UT Austin topping Texas universities, which usually does? I don't understand the problem there. It says the University of Texas at Austin has landed the number 35 spot in the world, making it the only Texas school to crack the global top 50. The Center for World University Rankings evaluated more than 21,000 higher education institutions for its 26 report. UT Austin placed in the top 0.2% of schools worldwide, ahead of every other Texas university. Texas A&M, Rice, and other schools appeared in the broader rankings, but fell outside the elite top 50 cutoff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw another interesting stat over the weekend. Texas A&M Victoria, number one within the country with the highest dropout rate amongst its 2022 cohort. 53% of freshmen who started in 2022 decided not to come back for their sophomore year in 2023. This is IPED's data. These numbers fluctuate every year, but Prairie View A&M is always on that list, along with Texas Southern. But that's the first time I can recall.
By the way, those numbers from 22, 23, which may in part explain why A&M has now taken over that situation. I don't know. I know the biggest issue They say that, if you just win, all problems take care of themselves. All that needs to happen at A&M Victoria is enrollments. It's at the airport. What do we look at? Employments. At the university, we look at enrollment.
Yeah. But retention's a key part of that. If you don't lose 53% of your freshmen, you don't have to work as hard to get more in.
True story.
So,
but it'd be nice if we enrolled 1,500 students for the fall and then enrolled another 1,500 in the spring.
Prairie View A&M, 49.5% of their freshmen left. Southern University and A&M College, that's at Louisiana, 48%. Texas Southern, 46.7%. University of Illinois Chicago, 45% of their freshmen in 22 did not come back for 2023 as sophomores. University of Illinois Chicago, pretty smart school, they probably failed out.
Sure.
Kennesaw State University, number 6, University of Oregon, University of Kentucky, University of Houston saw only 42% of their freshman cohort from 22 re-enroll at that school in 23, and Arizona State University, number 10, but that's because they party too much at ASU and they can't handle it.
Average student entering the portal. Yeah.
What else is happening?
A&M Victoria is ready to grow. They've got the infrastructure to probably handle 5,000-6,000 students, and they have about 1,000.
Never had a plan to get there. That's the problem. Now 10 counties, 12 counties, I should say, part of the screwworm outbreak in Texas. 10 confirmed cases over the weekend.
Jackie Parsons pointed out, if you see something, call somebody. If you see a cow that's got a big gaping wound, and you can imagine that's what's happening. If that's the case, then call a game warden, call, Ag Extension Agency. Call us. We'll figure out what to do with it.
Yeah. I had the map on Friday and now I don't find it, but the number of counties is growing. Travis, Caldwell, Gillespie, Uvalde, Zavala have all issued formal disaster declarations. The governor launched free online inspector training to accelerate the workforce. And scientists working to produce even more sterile flies, because that's how you stop the breeding, you stop the spreading.
Think about that task. I can walk into my kitchen. If I leave the back door open, I can have 50 flies in my house in a matter of moments. Imagine trying to create enough sterile flies to have a discernible effect.
And they're dropping 10 million a day, apparently, in some places, and it's still not working. And we're trying to build a new sterile fly facility, but that's going to take a few months.
The flies are sterile. They just, they just lay around and drink beer. Yeah. They're too lazy to perform.
USDA has a dashboard with confirmed cases. Let's see where these are.
There's a map. It's mostly west of here and north of here.
Tom Green, Sutton, Edwards, Gillespie, Zavala, LaSalle.
Was Travis one of them?
I think they declared a.
Oh, look. So the species, here we go. Go back up and you can scroll. Sheep, cattle, goats, cattle, goats, cattle, dog, cattle.
The dog was in New Mexico, Lee County. I think that's one of the counties that wants to become part of Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Keep
not
your
now.
Infected dogs out.
We don't want you anymore.
12 cases. 0 detected in the fly trap detectors. So
they're not catching them.
It's not like it's just prolific, but it can spread exponentially.
That's the problem.
I mean, they tell 2 people, then they tell 2 people. Next thing you know, everybody's using Wella Balsam.
And 0 have been detected in wildlife or feral animals, but that's just because
doesn't that figure? What if they would just get on the feral hogs? What if we could just steer them to the feral pig population and let them all die? That'd be great.
That would be nice. And we're not making light of this.
No, it's a huge deal.
It'll be a big problem.
Scott Tompkins wants to know, was it a cow dog?
Probably. Oh, be my guess.
There's state rep from House District 30, Sheriff A.J. Louderback. Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well. Jackie Parsons says it's a wildlife issue. Yep. I don't know how AJ does it. Now, I saw pictures of he and Marcy at the state convention, and then you saw him at church yesterday.
Yeah.
So there you go. Do me a favor. Take this break.
I'll
be right back.
All right. I'll do that. Veracruz Restaurant back open today. Get into Veracruz. Enjoy the best Mexican food in town. Bar none. Best guac. Hot sauce is always just hot enough and not too runny. Sticks to the chips, homemade chips as well. So yeah, get into Veracruz today and enjoy what we refer to as simply the best Mexican food in town. USA Concrete Coatings, USA Foundation Repair. All this rain will definitely expose any foundation issues that you may have. So give them a call, 578-HOME. Free estimates. So if you've got doors that aren't staying open, if you got doors that won't open, they're sticking a little bit, could be foundation problems. Not saying it is, but could be. And no better people than Charlie Garcia and his gang and his brothers at USA Foundation Repair and USA Concrete Coatings to come out, check it out. When the rain does end and you want to make your pool look a little nicer or your patio, they can handle that as well. Let's see. Coolers are loaded. Barbacoa Boudin back at the chopping block. They've got a Texas brisket Boudin. That one's pretty good as well. Plus, they've got stocked up on their steaks, the baseball sirloins. Those are a nice sirloin steak, easy to cook, just a perfect portion. They've got their fajita meat, pork chops, everything you want, ribs, you name it. They've got it, poppers, all that. So get to the chopping block, stock up in time for Father's Day this weekend.
I got something that I haven't told you.
What's that?
And we didn't talk that much this weekend, but, I was on my Central Texas Houston baseball circuit this weekend, and we got on, we played at Baseball USA on Thursday, which is right there at Beltway 8, roughly an I-10. Easy deal, right? The next day, we had to be in Brenham by 8. Now, it's beautiful. Once you get out that north and west out of Houston, really just say 20 minutes from Beltway 8.
Get into the hills.
And you had the freshly rolled round bales out across all the pastures. The rain has been good to them. And we played at Blinn, which has a beautiful, very small. I'd be amazed if their stadium has 500 seats. But junior college baseball field, and we played there. And then on Saturday, we ended up going to Baytown. And when we were in Baytown, you have to picture where you're at. You're east of Houston, and then Baytown kind of runs down to the Ship Channel.
Yeah. Well,
we went from there down Highway 146, LaPorte. You're on your way to Kemah, Lamarck, and we hit NASA Road 1 and cut over and went to Webster and went to John Turner's Webster chopping block location. We made it through finance and we bought some hamburger meat.
Nice.
And no, but it's a beautiful meat market that's just literally in an office building, probably a 5-story office building, 4 or 5, and just in the lobby, like you would see a coffee shop, there's a meat market, and it was packed. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I really no slight to the chopping block, and you've got a lot larger population over there, but it would be like having a serious meat market at Laurent Tower.
Yeah.
And people just coming in off the street and buying beef. John was there, Rachel, their son. It was really nice to go by there. By the way, have you ever spent any time down there by NASA?
I have not.
The
No.
Clear Lake area it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Anyway, so we did that. And the chopping block.
You don't have to go to Webster to get all they got at the chopping block because they've got one right here on Navarro. So stop
absolutely.
Yeah.
With more stuff here, bigger space.
Prices are really good.
Really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really good.
Kathleen Leininger says, good to see that eliminate property tax in the Republican Party of Texas legislative priorities.
It's just smoke and mirrors.
Florida,
though.
it's going to be
Come
hard.
on, what a great thing to point out. I agree with you, Kathleen. Isn't that great? Well, our platform involves eliminating property taxes. 'Cause they're all going wink, wink. It ain't going to happen. Why would it? How could it happen? People talk all the time about how Texas has the most robust economy in the country, and that we have a surplus on our taxes, and yada yada yada. They're not going to disrupt that apple cart.
Florida has a constitutional amendment heading to voters this fall that would severely reduce property taxes. I don't think it'll eliminate them, even though that's kind of where they're going. It would increase their homestead exemption to $150,000 in 2027, increase it to $250,000 in 2028, and then adjust for inflation going forward. $50,000 is all that they can exempt under their homestead in Florida right now. The other thing this does, though, is they don't pass it on to businesses or people with second or third homes as investment properties. That's my understanding of what they're doing in Florida. They're not exempting homeowners, but passing it on to those who own business properties or rental properties. My understanding is they're going to get similar breaks as well. And so basically what it's going to do is force government to stop spending, which is the problem I have, because for as much as you call this government of Texas conservative, there's nothing conservative about blowing $50 billion in surplus the last two bienniums.
True story.
Every extra dollar we get, Governor Abbott finds a way to spend it. That's not conservative.
Great point. Kathleen says it'll never happen if we don't try to make it happen. I'm all for it. I would love to have no taxes.
And I don't know enough about Stafford and how they're able to do it with no property tax.
Corporate. I mean, they're right there on the edge of Houston, and they've got something that sells a bunch.
Yeah. Is it just homeowners that don't pay property tax there, or do business owners also? I mean, are all property owners exempt from property tax in Stafford? I don't know. That would be interesting. But one thing that's glaring
into that at one time, and there was something about it. That you went, oh, well, that makes a difference.
But there's one thing glaringly obvious that is just a stark contrast to here. They embraced their interstate and didn't run from it.
Right.
They embraced Texas 6 and didn't run from it. You know, we've done the opposite. You know, we've got businesses on our interstate, but none of them are shopper friendly. They're all industrial type businesses. So you've got to have a reason to go there. Not just driving along the interstate and pull off to go grab a Coke and a burger, or, you know, and the resulting neighborhoods that usually pop up around those types of investments.
Jonathan Williams says it's just the ISD that's not charging property tax. And it is not this, but it's going to be something like, there's an Exxon facility there, and it raises so much money that they don't have to charge for school taxes. The other thing is, you go to a place like Round Top, Warrenton, where they have the, what's the other place? The one up there that's out east of Dallas that has all the huge flea markets. But like Round Top that has the First Monday thing, you know, that they do their deal, or maybe it's the other place that has the First Monday. But it's the folks that come in pay enough for their booth rentals that at the end of the day, the city doesn't have to charge property taxes. Canton. Thank you, Tommy Kingston. Tommy Kingston's got a grandson who's playing on an all-star team. Doesn't seem like he's old enough to have grandkids. Welcome back in, folks, to the Atzenhofer studio, where for over 100 years, Atzenhofer's been a South Texas tradition. Tomorrow, we will have the Car of the Week. So looking forward to that.
Friday was a Toyota Corolla, low miles, good price. Not sure if it's still there, but if it is, it shouldn't be. But I did not check to see if it was still there this morning. I'll get one for tomorrow. I find this interesting because on the heels of Apple, earlier in the month, saying that they are going to
become the parent. They're going to become the parent.
Yeah. What do you make of Apple saying that they're going to, age verification for anybody under the age of 16 for apps on Apple phones and Apple products,
right.
which, you obviously think Apple's becoming the parent.
Well, they've got software now that'll keep kids from seeing nudity. They've got apps that a child simply, like, for example, can't get on Instagram, if you will.
Yeah.
It'll only allow texting to and from certain people. It's basically doing for your child what you should be doing.
Yeah.
But I think that the average person, Ash, who when a child is 18 months old goes, here, take my phone, take my device, and let me shop. The average person who does that, I hesitate to say probably needs the help of Apple, but they'll probably welcome the help of Apple.
Yeah.
We always say here, you can't legislate morality. Kids will be finding hacks to get around. The cool kid will be the 18-year-old who opens up your phone.
Well, Australia has found that implementing the ban that they did on social media was a whole lot easier than actually monitoring it and policing it. And now the UK wants to implement a ban on social media for kids under the age of 16. We watched Prime Minister Starmer talk about that this morning.
Sure.
The ban's expected to take effect next year. TikTok, Insta, Snap, YouTube, Facebook, X, all will be affected platforms. Gamers, you'll no longer be able to live stream if you're under the age of 18. AI romantic chat bots won't be available to kids under 18.
No. And by the way, I think that's a good idea, right? You don't need your 14, 15-year-old kid having an online simulated sexual relationship with a chatbot. You don't.
That's what National Geographic was for.
Right. You don't need that. That's kind of the modern National Geographic. But you don't need that. But at the same time, I think what we're still seeing is the what ifs of the internet, if you will, were totally unanticipated. They weren't prepared for.
No. And they're even looking at curfews. So basically, let's say after 11 o'clock at night, anyone under the age of 18 will not be allowed on the internet and to scroll. I mean, I hate to say it, but disguised in any other way, this is censorship by the government. It's limiting, and don't get me wrong, the parents need to step up, but I don't know that I don't know. I agree, but
Ryan Hopping's another year older. He checks in super late. He says, Tommy Kingston is now a great grandfather.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
James Kurth points out, and he's a school teacher. He knows kids make fake accounts to get around the age requirement.
Yeah. No, they do.
I mean, that's going to happen, right? But I mean, on the surface, I don't have a problem with Meta and Apple and others policing themselves before the government has to get involved.
Well,
but the idea that those are the two options, right? Where is the nuclear American family? Where is, a pastor said yesterday, guard your hearts. Where is the accountability to mom for what you're putting on, the internet?
And I don't believe Apple's intentions and Meta's intentions are true or altruistic.
No, I think they're trying to avoid government intervention.
They're trying to avoid government intervention, and they're trying to get a step up in the wake of what Australia did and the ban potentially in the UK. Because what does that really mean? That means mom and dad, instead of dealing with all of the regulations and having to do all of the things to jump through hoops, they're just going to not buy their kid a phone at the age of 10.
Right.
That's profit and sales and revenue lost from Apple and Google. And that's what they're trying to get ahead of. So they can say, well, you know what? We've got your back, mom and dad. You can still buy that phone for little Johnny and Susie at the age of 10.
But
instead
it's
of
a
waiting.
child's phone.
Because
It's
if
got
they
limitations.
don't, you're going to wait till they're 16. That's 6 years where Apple's not selling phones to that age demographic that they're currently selling them
So
to.
you think it's a profit deal more than an ethics deal?
Absolutely
I think
it
you're
is.
right. Junior Sable says, I miss Playboy. Anatomy 101 was a breeze in nursing school due to Hugh Hefner.
Oh, Lord.
But, I mean, where else can you? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No.
There you go. Kevin Leininger says, on a side note, Texas's Blinn College took second in the Junior College Baseball World Series out of Colorado recently. They made the World Series in 25, and they were national champs in 24. A really, really solid baseball program.
Absolutely. Let's see what else is happening. See if there's anything breaking in the world today. I think the G7 will be interesting now that there's supposedly an Iran.
Will Trump go? Will Trump go and speak?
He's supposed to go.
Is he going to go?
There were rumors that if the deal wasn't done, he wasn't going to go.
But is he going to go and say we're the hottest country on the planet? 4 years ago, we were dead. Now we're the hottest country anywhere.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You know what he sounds like? Jerry Jones. We got Michael Irvins. We got Troy Aikmans. We got Emmett Smiths. We're going to be great. 30 years later, praying for a playoff.
What about that tragedy up near Butler, Kansas over the weekend?
What happened?
You see that?
No, sir, I didn't.
I was on the road. A plane taking a dozen, or a plane with a dozen people, a bunch of skydivers had problems after it took off, tried to get back to the airport and ended up crashing, and all 12 died.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not making light of that situation, but if I've got a parachute strapped on me and the plane's having trouble, I'm jumping out.
11 passengers and the pilot killed shortly after takeoff. They wouldn't have been high enough probably to jump out.
Terrible.
But they were only about 100 feet off.
100 feet off the ground.
Yeah, terrible. Making their initial ascent. And Butler's not a big town. About 4,000 people southwest of Kansas City, rural part of Kansas, kind of suburban, right on that edge. It's kind of El Campo to Houston is kind of where you are in Butler. Baker University there, strong NAI athletic program.
Tell you what, if you're a skydiver, the last thing you think about is the plane crashing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You think about the parachute potentially not opening. Interesting.
Yeah.
James Kurth with the deep thought, too low to jump.
Yeah. Linda Chris, parents should not buy a phone for a kid, make them get a job and buy it themselves. Easier said than done in this day and age because kids can't work like they used to at the age of 14. You can't go deliver papers because there aren't any anymore.
That was a worthy trade-off.
Parents don't want their kids working at that age. They'd rather just give them $20 every week instead of going out mowing lawns. So I don't know.
I make mine mow the lawn and don't give them anything.
Yeah, well, you let them live there, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
No, Tom, I would not parachute for kicks.
No, I would not. No,
I would not parachute.
At all. Thought about it at one point, decided, nope, not going to do it.
Wow. Junior says, let's do it on our birthdays next year. No, I'm not doing that. I know exactly where to do it too. You do it over there off of Highway 46 on your way from Victoria, say, to New Braunfels. There's that place on the right. No, it's on the way to San Marcos. But I'm not doing that.
No.
Between Luling and San Marcos.
They had a crash there a few years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, that's crazy town.
Yeah, no, not doing it. But yeah, no.
I ain't bungee jumping either.
No. I think I jumped off the 10-meter platform at a pool once. That's about as high as I want to go. Even then, you kind of missed land a little bit and smack your ribs. Hurts.
Yeah.
But
Linda says, I have a 13-year-old working for us now. That
violating child labor laws. Way to
Rylan.
go. Yeah, way to go, Junior.
That would be Rylan.
Hey, top of the hour, folks. We're going to get out of here. Folks on Magic, hope you enjoyed it. You cut off right at the top, so I want to say goodbye to you and thank you for joining us. Just in
Always.
case you miss it, same at the No Bull Network.
The understood shout out to Magic 95.9, the official mothership of the Wade Carter program. I'm going to tell you, I haven't told you this yet either. Be mentally prepared. Sometime in early November, we're going to have a 10-year anniversary party, and you will be invited. So, folks, we hope you guys, that's you too, Ash. I'll invite you.
Thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
hope you guys have a great day. It's Monday. Go win the week, folks. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.